deliberated or mentioned by the Minister of Finance and under the votes that are in the schedule. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that a grand total sum of Uganda shillings 1,105,162,724,367 shillings be approved as a grand total supplementary expenditure and a supplementary expenditure schedule for number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 for the various votes that are in the schedule. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move a motion for the House to resume and the Committee of Supply reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of Supply reports thereto. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Stand up. Please sit. Please sit.
Report of the Committee of Supply.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to report that the Committee of Supply has considered the supplementary schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 amounting to Uganda shillings 1,767,724,367 shillings and passed it without amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of Supply.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of Supply for schedule number 5 of financial year 2025-2026 be adopted.
I put a question that the report of the Committee of Supply be adopted by this House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Member, thank you. I will instruct the clerk to capture the details and supply it to Finance. Next item.
Item 12 on the order paper. Bill second reading. The Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, you recall that on Wednesday 15th, 2026, the Minister of Internal Affairs tabled the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 for the first reading. Pursuant to Rule 135 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, the bill was referred to a joint committee of Defence and Internal Affairs and Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The committee has concluded the consideration of the bill and is ready to report. And pursuant to Rule 136(1) of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Minister to move his motion for the second reading before I will give you to bring your issue. Please. Honorable, let him first move, then I will give you to bring your issue. Okay?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the bill you have invited this House to consider is a government bill. I saw Museveni Tibuhaburwa.
Sabalwanyi.
That's not part of the names. So, in his letter, Right Honorable Speaker, he actually disowned.
Lob, is it in his letter?
Yes.
Can I have it?
So,
I want us to talk with evidence. Can we lay the letter on table?
I actually prepared, Madam Speaker. Here is a copy of the letter. I am tabling it.
I have never seen a letter from State House in white.
Madam Speaker, this is a copy of the letter, and I am tabling it. Normally we table documents, then they can be processed and authenticated and so on. But let me raise the point I was raising, Madam Speaker. In this letter, he disowned the bill that was tabled by the Minister of State for Internal Affairs. In fact, he was appalled, wondering what it is that we were debating. Also, what bothered me, Madam Speaker, in his letter he said he called the two chairpersons of committees regarding this bill. I don't know how procedurally that gets to be correct, that now the executive gets to meddle directly, because it should be you, Madam Speaker, to call chairpersons of committees, guide them and so on. But if they are getting guidance from the executive, it's a problematic issue. Madam Speaker, the Attorney General and the Minister of State for Internal Affairs went back to the joint committee and they made amendments to majority of the clauses in the bill. Please note, for those who have been following, amendments to majority of the clauses in the bill. For all intents and purposes, Madam Speaker and colleagues, this was now a new bill. For all intents and purposes. And by the way, there is precedents that have been set by this House, even in the previous Parliament, where...
Honourable members, I want you to listen to Lob. Lob is saying, after...
Let me actually say what I am saying. I'm glad you are protecting me from some noisy colleagues.
This becomes a new bill. What I would only ask, did the new bill change the objective of the old bill? You continue.
Madam Speaker, and I'm glad you're asking that question, because the entire foundation of the bill was torn apart, and no wonder the initiator...
It's a procedure.
But I rose procedurally, Madam Speaker.
No, I gave
procedure
you,
cannot counter procedure.
No, I gave you space to speak. Not
but I raised...
Is a yes and order.
An order cannot... Honorable, you've been around for some time. You know that procedure takes precedence. You're going to mislead the new MPs who are coming in the 12th Parliament. They need to know and learn from people. Let me proceed in earnest, Madam Speaker.
But Honorable Lob, I want to put this on record that we do not have a new bill. We only have one bill. I am the custodian of the law in Parliament. If the President wanted to make a change in that, in the law, in the bill, the President ought to have informed me. I am not aware of that. It has not come to my attention. I am the one processing the bills here. So if he sent it for public, and if he called the chairpersons, he's one of the Ugandans whom we should consult.
Madam Speaker, I'm glad you're saying you were not informed, and that's part of the problem I'm raising. Why was this House not informed? Especially because majority of the clauses were amended. Madam Speaker, please protect me from noisy colleagues. You always tell us that this is not a market.
Colleagues, please let the Honorable Lob finish. Let Honorable Lob finish his submission. No. Honorable members, let's be calm. I am the custodian of the law here. I don't have a new law. I don't have a new bill. So after Honorable has finished, I will ask the minister to move his bill. You finish.
Thank you. So as I was saying, this is me saying, and you will rule and guide. For all intents and purposes, as far as I am concerned, this then became a new bill because majority of the clauses in the bill were changed. And there is precedents where ministers have been told, no, those so many amendments, just withdraw the bill and reintroduce it perhaps. What the Minister for Internal Affairs and Attorney General should have done was to withdraw this bill.
Honorable Lob,
But Madam Speaker, you're not even allowing me to submit.
Honorable
Let
Lob,
me submit. You're the one going to rule.
please, Honorable Lob, my brother. Honorable Lob. Honorable Lob. Honorable Lob. Can I have order? Can I have order? We have now started debating in anticipation. We don't know what the bill is. When the minister moves his bill, that's when we can reject. Huh? Please make my work easy. No, you leave Honorable Lob to finish. Switch on.
Madam Speaker, actually I am seeking to make your work easier. Really, if you capture what it is that I'm saying. Because they are moving it for the second time. And for me, what I was saying is you should have been moving to withdraw the bill. That's my opinion. And you're going to give your ruling, Madam Speaker. So, no, but they called for reading of the bill for second and third reading.
Okay.
So, let me finish the issue that for me I am raising.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, also,
What
stakeholders...
What is the procedure matter that you are raising now?
So, the procedural matter I'm raising is, shouldn't the Minister of Internal Affairs be withdrawing his bill, and then he goes back for consultation?
Can I answer
Finally.
that first? Can I answer that first? Maybe it will form your second question, that the Minister of Internal Affairs should be moving his motion for the second reading. Because as far as I know, I have not been given another motion. I only have one motion. So you will move your second motion for the second reading.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm glad on record you have said you were not notified of a second one. That's something we are going to interrogate because, like I'm saying, as far as some of us are concerned, it's a second one. Right, Honorable Speaker, the committee report to this bill here leaked and it is in the public domain. It was first shared on our parliament platforms. Media houses have shared it. It is all over. Honorable Speaker, on 18th of January 2023, you were seated in the chair you're seated in, and I was standing on this very microphone. I was chairperson of COSASE. I rose to present a committee report for COSASE on Uganda Airlines. And you said, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to quote you verbatim what was on the Hansard. You said, there was a leakage of the Uganda Airlines report. A property of this parliament cannot leak, and we continue debating on it. Those were your exact words captured on the Hansard. Honorable Speaker, this report has leaked. So, given that precedent which you said, are we going to go ahead and debate this leaked report?
Thank you.
Because the precedent was set by yourself. We hope to be ready.
First of all, honorable members, in the VIP gallery, I want to introduce Honorable Namlondo Sara, MP-elect from Buyende. You're most welcome. Honorable Naku Fiona, the elect for workers. Most welcome, Fiona Naku. And then we have Honorable Sewagude Robert, representing people with disability, national. You're also most welcome. I have Honorable Matembe, Miriam, and Honorable Emily Otekat. Honorable members, I want to refer you to Rule 14. The report of the Committee on Bills shall, and I'm saying shall, be uploaded on the Parliamentary Information System for the information of members before the report is laid on table. That is 214.14a. This report that was uploaded had my signature. I even said, please place it on the order paper with my very able signature. The report of airlines that got out did not have my signature. I am the only one who can sanction a document to be uploaded, which I did, so the report was not leaked out. Can you move your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, in keeping with Rule 130 of the Rules of Procedure of this Parliament, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 be read the second time.
Seconded by the Vice President of Republic of Uganda, Honorable Jessica Alupo, retired. Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Nabanja Robina, Honorable Second Hajat, third Government Chief Whip, Minister of Defense, Minister of Security, Minister of ICT, Minister of Finance, Minister of Works, Minister of Sports, and the Hollow House on this side. And part of that house, part of the other side, including Chemongesi, Rogomayo. Thank you. Would you want to speak to your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members,
Can I first have a justification before you bring the procedure?
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the object of this bill is that the country faces a number of challenges which threaten our ability to self-govern in the absence of a sovereignty-specific law which this law seeks to address. And these include preventing undue external influence, regulating foreign funding, safeguarding national security, filling legal gaps, and managing digital misinformation. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, I want to provide some guidance in this. Honourable members, the chairpersons of the committees have prepared the report, and I wish to guide as follows. From the time the bill was tabled for the first reading, there has been a very remarkable public interest in it. A review of the committee report reveals that more than 60 witnesses were accorded opportunity to present their views on the bill, including persons and institutions. These answers and questions on whether there was sufficient public consultation or not, I commend the committee for upholding our cardinal principle of public participation. 2, there was a considerable debate on the content of the bill, notably the definition of the word foreigner, the scope of application of this bill, the regulatory prudence envisaged in administration and functions, the proposed penalties, the criminal offenses, regulations of foreign policies, registration of agents of foreigners, declaration of foreign funding, and ministerial powers, among others. I have reviewed the report. The committee has established that the contentious matters have been exhaustively handled and addressed as per the public interest. The definition of a foreigner, for instance, was initially brought in a way that was not appealing to the people, but the committee has handled. Now I want members, there is no procedure, I'm giving you guidance. I know I'm touching on your minorities. Honorable members, I am giving 30 minutes for the major report to be presented, and I am saying 30 minutes. Where is the chair? And I will also give, I am aware that is a minority report. It doesn't matter whether minorities or minority. I am also giving the minority or minorities 30 minutes. If you have 10 minorities, you'll divide 30 minutes by 10 and you'll have 3. Honorable Chair, unanswered, I want timing. Let him read his report. Then you will bring process. I don't want you to waste his time. Tebandeke, I know you want to exercise your law that you're learning now. You first wait. First wait. First wait. First wait. I have given you 30 minutes.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, for the record, my name is Wilson Kajrenje, Member of Parliament, Nyabushozi constituency, and Chairperson of Defense and Internal Affairs Committee. I'll be assisted by my colleague, the Honorable Baka Stephen Mugabe, Chairperson, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. May I take the honor to lay on the table the minutes of the committee, the joint committees, while processing and considering this report.
Thank
Right
you,
Honorable
President.
Speaker, indeed, I'll take the 30 minutes. Right Honorable Speaker, on Wednesday, 15th April 2026, the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 was read for the first time under Rule 135(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. You referred to the joint committee made up of Committees of Defense and Internal Affairs and the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for scrutiny, and we are now reporting under the same rule of procedure. Right Honorable Speaker, the joint committee here referred to as the committee has examined the bill, taking into account submissions from stakeholders, and now presents this report. This report sets the committee's analysis of the bill's objectives, the key provisions, likely effects, together with the synthesis of stakeholder views and the committee's recommendations to Parliament. The object of the bill. The object of the bill is to enact a law that seeks to provide for the protection of the sovereignty of the people of Uganda. 2, to designate the department responsible for peace and security and the responsible entity for the registration and regulation of agents of foreigners. 3, to provide for the protection of the sovereignty of Uganda and provide for the registration of agents of foreigners, and to regulate the funding and any other assistance to agents of foreigners and for the related matters. Defects in the existing law. The bill identifies principal defect in the existing law framework, legal framework, as the absence of a specific law operationalizing the protection of Uganda's sovereignty, which has allowed continued external interference in the government policies and programs. In particular, it points out the increasing influence of foreign actors and their agents in shaping policy and development priorities, often through conditional grant, conditional funding, and parallel programs that conflict with national objectives. It further highlights inadequate regulation of civil society organizations, especially those receiving foreign funding, leading to concerns about transparency and alignment with the national objectives. Additionally, the bill notes the growing use of digital platforms by foreign actors to spread misinformation and incite social discord, collectively undermining Uganda's ability to self-govern independently and safeguard its political, economic, and social stability. Right Honorable Speaker, what method did we use? Methodology. In considering the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026, the committee undertook an extensive and transparent stakeholder engagement process to ensure broad participation. Public notices were published in the dailies, Vision and Monitor, on 17th April. We invited memoranda and views from all interested parties. This was to facilitate meaningful input. The committee suspended the sittings for 1 week to allow stakeholders adequate time to prepare and submit written memoranda. Upon resumption on 24th of April, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, stakeholders who had expressed interest were accorded opportunity to present their views. The committee engaged them directly, seeking clarifications where necessary. In total, and this is unprecedented, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, in total, The committee interfaced with 224 stakeholders, clustered under 60 groups drawn from diverse sectors. In the diaspora, the Global Forum Uganda Diaspora Council, whose memoranda included views of Ugandans drawn from 32 countries across all regions that gave their perspectives on the bill. In addition to the hearing from stakeholders who appeared before the committee also took into account the perspectives shared by His Excellency the President in his guidance to the nation through his letter, particularly that was addressed to the Bazuku regarding the bill. Following these engagements, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee held further sittings during which the learned Attorney General responded to the stakeholder concerns and proposed refinements to the bill. The interactive process ensured that the review incorporated both legal scrutiny and practical implementation considerations. This structured approach, characterized by open invitations, dedicated submission time, inclusive hearings, responsible dialogue, demonstrates that the committee's work was informed by a wide participatory and national representative consultation process. The stakeholders the committee interfaced with include the following. It is important, Right Honorable Speaker, that this goes on record. We have clustered them like this. We had stakeholders under government and public institutions. These are actors with statutory mandates that include Bank of Uganda, Financial Intelligence Authority, National Planning Authority, Uganda Human Rights Commission, the parliamentary committees. We also had another cluster of legal and professional bodies and organizations that focused on the law, like Uganda Law Society, like East African Law Society, the Law Development Center, Center for Constitutional Governance, that had in their entourage former members and former ministers of government. Independent legal and legal practitioners who forwarded multiple submissions. We had political actors and movements, political parties, or politically affiliated formations. These include Alliance for National Transformation, Forum for Democratic Change, National Unity Platform, the People's Front for Freedom, and for the record, the Hansard must capture this, Right Honorable Speaker, that Uganda People's Congress appeared and gave their views, and that the leader of opposition also appeared and gave his views. I'm mentioning it for the capture of the Hansard. We also entertained private sector and business associations that include the Chamber of Commerce, Kampala Arcade Traders Association, Kampala City Traders Association, Uganda Small Scale Industries Association, Uganda National Traders Association, the Gen Z Business Owners Association, Innovation Village, the startup ecosystem, and the independent private sector consultants. We did not stop there. We entertained financial, insurance, economic sector actors. These include the sector-specific institutional stakeholders that include Uganda Bankers Association, supervised financial institutions like banks, mobile money operators, via sector submissions. We also entertained Payment Service Providers Association. We also entertained Uganda Forex Bureau and Money Remittances Association. They too appeared and gave their views. We also considered digital, telecom, media actors in communication, broadcasting, and digital economy, include communication sector operators, National Association of Broadcasters, media practitioners, journalists, and journalism practitioners. We also entertained the civil society and non-government organizations, both domestic and international civic actors that include Anti-Corruption Coalition of Uganda, Foundation for Human Rights Initiative, Legal Aid Service Providers Association, the Rotary Uganda, Women Pro Bono Initiative, Country Directors of International Network, and various national NGOs also submitted. We also entertained international organizations and development actors under these multinational organizations and international cooperation actors. These include United Nations country team, international NGO community, collectively represented. We did not stop there, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues. We entertained the labor, religious, and social institutions that include NOTU, that include Interreligious Council of Uganda, that include Muslim Organizations Coalition, and other faith-based organizations. We entertained health, scientific community, and public health research institutions, e.g., Uganda Medical Association, Uganda Virus Research Institute, Peoples Living with HIV advocacy groups. We also entertained education and academic sector that include Makerere University, Academic Staff Association, universities and academic researchers, student groups, and members of the guild also submitted. National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda, Uganda Lawyers' Voice on Climate Change, Gender Rights and Advocacy, Climate Advocacy groups. We also entertained diaspora, transnational communities, Ugandan actors, the Global Forum. This is an organization that groups all Ugandans in the diaspora. The Cheyo Association, NUP, NUP Diaspora Chapter, individual diaspora submissions. We went further and entertained professional and individual submissions. These are unaffiliated and cross-cutting. Independent consultants, individual citizens, business professionals, researchers. Right Honorable Speaker, we consulted documents. Consequently, the committee recommendations reflect a balanced synthesis of stakeholder perspectives in the key findings and salient observations. Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to present key findings and salient observations on the Sovereignty Protection Bill of 2026. The committee found it prudent to clarify the key interpretive issue of Clause 2, which is application of the bill. Clause 2 sits at the core of the legislative framework, and it defines the reach of the law and it determines who is regulated and what circumstances and for what conduct. The committee reviewed the Honorable Attorney General's comments, noting that Clause 2 limits the bill to specific activities tied to foreign influence. According to the learned Attorney General interpretation, the bill does not apply to a person generally, to all persons generally, that it applies only to persons acting as agents of foreign actors, and that even then, only where such a person is engaged in specific conduct, including influencing government policy, political processes, or public decision-making for the interest of foreigners. The Attorney General clarified that Clause 2 is meant to limit the bill, not to expand it. He guided that it applies only to agents of foreign actors and only when they engage in specific influence-related activities, e.g., affecting government policies or public decision-making. In addition, the learned Attorney General noted that the bill is activity-based, not identity-based. So ordinary transactions like remittances, businesses, family support are excluded unless tied to regulated influence. On this reading, the bill presented a targeted regulatory instrument aimed at structured foreign influence operations rather than legitimate international engagement. However, the committee observes that this interpretation, while persuasive as a matter of policy intent, is not shared by the majority of stakeholders. There is a gap between the AG's intended narrow scope and how the bill is actually drafted. When Clause 2 is read together with broad definitions in Clause 1 and the expansive list of activities, including concepts such as influencing public opinion and activities that the minister may prescribe, stakeholders interpreted the bill as having a much wider practical effect. The East African Law Society, for example, in their submission, warned that the term agent of a foreigner in Clause 2 could apply to regular economic, professional, and family connections, such as employees of foreign businesses, traders, and those receiving support from relatives abroad. The Law Development Center noted that that clause 2 does not distinguish harmful actions from lawful ones. So the people could be held liable simply because of their associations, not because they caused any actual harm. This divergence, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, reveals a fundamental issue. The intended limitations of clause 2 are not sufficiently clear on the face of the law, creating uncertainty as to the boundary between harmful foreign influence and legitimate activity. While the Attorney General maintains that clause 2 limits application to specific regulated activities, stakeholders consistently note that this limitation is not clearly reflected in drafting. Therefore, the committee found that the line between harmful foreign interference and legitimate activities is unclear. Clause 2 is meant as a safeguard, but not effectively to limit the bill. This gap policy and the law shapes all the committee's subsequent findings. 5.2, understanding sovereignty. We looked at what the 1995 Constitution says versus what the bill proposes. Sovereignty under the 1995 Constitution as amended. This committee discussed sovereignty referencing the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, herein refers to as the Constitution. The committee found that the 95 Constitution determines the sovereignty belongs to the people of Uganda and not government. Specifically, Article 1, which states that all power belongs to the people who shall exercise their sovereignty in accordance with the Constitution. Article 1.2 adds that without limiting the effect of Clause 1 of this article, all authority in the state emanates from the people of Uganda, and the people shall be governed through their will and consent. These provisions establish that the people are the original in the protection of the Sovereignty Bill 2026. The committee further notes that sovereignty has two dimensions. A popular one, where power ultimately rests with the people, and security dimension, where the state exercises authority to safeguard national interest. We looked at a leading jurist, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr., 1841-1932, a renowned American jurist who served as a Supreme Court judge, who described sovereignty in similar terms. Justice Wendell Holmes perceives sovereignty as the ultimate practical power of the state to govern and maintain order grounded in the historic and social necessity for societal existence and survival. The state action is therefore legitimate only when it maintains grounded in popular sovereignty. Guided by this understanding, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, the committee observed that the bill introduces a strong emphasis on shielding Uganda from foreign influence and expands the state's regulatory powers over political and civic activity. Summarily, the bill aims to protect the sovereignty of the people, prevent foreign interference on governance, and the key features include restricting activities that promote foreign interests, which can be gotten from Clause 5, restricting non-state actors from performing government functions, which is Clause 6, criminalizing interference in elections and government operations, which is Clause 1 to 13, and regulating foreign funding and civil society activities, and restricting interference.
Is it 1 or 11 to 13?
11, I beg your pardon. 11 to 13. Restricting interference of government policy. The committee, therefore, found that the Constitution grants ultimate authority to the people, with the government acting as a trustee. The Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 regards the state as primary guardian of sovereignty and adopts a cautious approach to foreign linked actors, whereas the Constitution